designed to inspire believers to find and walk in the joy of the Lord despite life's challenges. Get ready to explore relevant themes that challenge the mundane and the status quo of Christian life. Each devotional will include a time of storytelling, scripture explanation, and obedience points. So join me and others from around the world every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, for it is a happy day. Well, it is a happy day, family. I want to thank you for joining me for a new week. And man, time is flying by. We are moving into what I'm looking forward to here in Michigan this summer. And I'd like for you to just let me know what's one thing that you're grateful for, one thing that in deep down on the inside you have so much gratitude that you'd like to share that with your boy. Please share that with me. Again, if you're joining me from Facebook, YouTube, or Instagram, hit like, share, and subscribe. This week, we like to encourage you from in and around the subject entitled Changes. The last year has ushered in so many different changes. For most of us, we're going through change on multiple levels. And, we know it's human nature that oftentimes we just don't like the change. We don't want to go through the changes, and if you're like me, you don't want nobody taking you through no drama, all that unnecessary change. No. And so I want to just kind of walk you through the 7 dynamics of change that will help you deal with, changes that are going on in your own life, as well as those that you might be dealing with in your family, your children, spouse, and those perhaps on your job. They say that most people change when they see the light, while others only change when they feel the heat. Which one is it for you? Are you a light changer or a heat changer? That most times you don't want to change. You're not, you don't change unless somebody forces you to make the change. You understand? But we're living in a fast-paced world that is driven by technology. It's driven by information. It's just so crazy how things change from day to day, from moment to moment. And if you're not careful, it will totally stress you out. And so I want to just encourage you to know that we're all going through changes, but there are some things that we can do that will help us, right? And I'll tell you a story. I worked on the railroad for a number of years, and the distance between both rails is like 4 feet and 1/8 inch, right? 4 feet 1/8 inch, and that's the standard distance between both rails. And when you ask someone, well, why is that off distance? 4 feet and 1/8 inch. You're like, well, what's the deal with that? And you run it all the way back. The American railroads were, built on the same model that the British, measurement was. And so, they just kind of copied it. But then when you run it back, it runs all the way back to ancient Rome. That was the distance of the chariot. The distance between the wheels in the chariots was 4 feet and 1/8 inch. And sometimes we just keep doing the same thing just because that's just how it is. And the world that we live in, oftentimes, you can't keep doing the same thing you've been doing from week to week to year. And so the first thing is that when we talk about the 7 dynamics of change, you got to think about that. How just some things remain the same because people just refuse to change. And you don't want to be forced to change, right? You want to be out ahead of it. And so the first thing that I was thinking about is most people feel awkward when change is presented. When you got to change some things in your life, you're going to feel awkward. You're going to feel out of sorts. You're going to feel like you don't have your balance, like things are moving from up under your feet. I want you to know that is normal. There's nothing wrong with you. There are some people will make you feel like, oh, you don't like change. There's something wrong with you. No, there's nothing wrong with you. Most people feel awkward. They don't feel comfortable. They feel they get the butterflies. If you're feeling like that during this time, I want to tell you that you are okay. You are okay. And so you sit down and deal with that emotion. Deal with how you are feeling. Talk about it. Talk about it. I want you to really sit down and talk about how you actually feel during this time with those that you care about. It will absolutely, absolutely bless you. You know, when I read the scriptures, Jesus knew that there was great changes coming in the life of the disciples, and he tried to prepare them for the changes. He said, listen, I'm going to go to Jerusalem. There's going to be some very awful things that are going to happen to me. It's going to be so awful that I'm actually going to be crucified. I'm going to die and I'm going to be buried. And I will get back up on the third day. They didn't hear that last part. And Peter stepped in and basically said, we're not going to let that happen. No, like, you know, we refuse. And oftentimes people won't allow you to change because when you change, you force everything around you to change. And so I want you to think about where you're feeling awkward. You're feeling like the ground is moving from up under your feet. You understand what I'm saying? And you're feeling those butterflies. And who are the resistors to the changes that you know you need to make in your life? You understand? My father died of heart disease. My mom died early. You know, my uncles and things died early. And so I knew that I had to make some changes. And so I just had to just say, regardless of who gonna do what in my house, I'm gonna have to make these changes. I'm gonna have to make these changes. And so I went vegetarian. Now I'm struggling in the process, but I'm on that road because I want to be around to see my grandchildren, right? I want to play with my grandchildren. I want to be around as long as I can and be healthy. The second thing that will help you as you're dealing with change is most people focus on what's leaving and what they've got to give up, which means that brings in negative emotions. That brings another layer of feeling and another layer of barriers, that mental barriers and that you have to deal with. And so one way that you can work through that is again go back to dynamic number one, where it's normal. But I need you to list the things that you miss. It's okay to say, I miss this. I miss that. I'm going to miss this person. Don't make people make you feel bad because you're talking about it. You're working through it. You understand? Don't suppress it, right? I'm going to put it out of my mind and I'll deal with it later. No, what I want you to do is to sit down and think about all the things that are changing in your life and who you miss. What will you miss about it? You know, celebrate those things. Don't let them just die, right? Find the persons around you that will allow you to celebrate those people. You understand? Those locations, those things that you need to talk about it. You need to talk about it. Don't go through this time without talking about how you feel. We're going through too many changes. You understand what I'm saying? You're going through too many changes. Find that person that you can talk to. And guess what? You will have a better day and you're going to have some more happy days. So listen, this week I want to talk to you about just changes. How do we deal with so many changes in our life? And we can guarantee that every day will be a better day and a happy day. God bless you, and I'm praying for you. I'll see you soon.